Hey there guys, welcome to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And this past weekend, I decided to go to the DFW G.I. Joe action figure show located here in Grapevine, Texas. Let's see what they have to offer. I've honestly never been to a toy show like this, especially with the heavy G.I. Joe branding. I wasn't totally sure on what to expect here. I know it had action figure in the title as well, but like I said, with that branding so forefront there and present, I didn't know how much other stuff there would be. And I guess surprisingly to me, there was quite a bit of other stuff. It kind of had a sort of similar feel that a lot of conventions have for the past however so decades. Which is certainly not a complaint because I do collect other things, but it is expected to also run into quite a bit of G.I. Joe stuff here as well. Most of the other brands that you can see here are stuff like Masters of the Universe, Transformers, some DC, some Marvel, and some Star Wars, of course. It is always fun to kind of dig through these sort of loose figures and sort of bins here just to kind of see if you can find any hidden gems. Tons of Batman, of course, including a Robin. Even my old pal Green Lantern. Also found this Batman and Robin Mr. Freeze. Tons of nostalgia for this figure, honestly. It was pretty cool seeing so much DC stuff. A variety. DC Direct, DC Universe Classics, even McFarlane. Pretty cool. Over here you can see that we have a nice flag, sort of USS flag, a beautiful piece, always nice to see in person. Armored Cobra Commander. I actually don't have any of this in my collection. Just not my #1 design. I should probably pick one up eventually though. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to find a lot of G.I. Joe, but of course you're going to find some other things as well. I would say if you're living in that ballpark of 80s to 90s, that's about the safest bet here. Which is expected. If you come for G.I. Joe, it's very likely you'll probably lean into something else like Transformers or Power Rangers or, you know, anything that'll fit that mindset. Even Toy Story here with this vintage Buzz Lightyear. And above that, some Batman. It is always nice to see that the booths have such, I don't know, prominent displays sometimes. This one, with their signage and their huge setup, this was busy. It was actually kind of hard to get some shots in here because it was kind of crowded every time we came by this table. I say table, it was like a line of tables. And they had a little bit of everything. Obviously you can see here a ton of classic figures behind a nice case. Something that you'll also notice is it's not just Real American Hero, but classic G.I. Joe. You know, we're talking about the 12-inch sort of dolls. And we're dealing with dolls, you know, you're going to find a lot of naked bodies just lying around. It's an interesting sort of view. Here we've got some more figures ranging from pretty much everywhere. You know, it's in box, it's out of box, it's vintage, it's within the last 15 years. It's kind of cool. I like when you get that sort of variety. As I mentioned earlier, and I'll continue to mention again, I was expecting more or less this. You know, just sort of classic Real American Hero, 3 3/4 inch Joe figures, and, you know, maybe some other G.I. Joe related things. So it honestly was nice to see not only that, but, you know, some other stuff as well. Of course, being a G.I. Joe fan, it is always cool to see some of these classic boxes. Down here, we've got some more of the old school sort of 12-inch action figures. I know I called them dolls earlier, but you know what I mean. Still pretty cool. And tons of the new retro figures as well. New retro, old retro. They're not even doing them anymore, so what does that make that? I don't even know. And of course, lots of Star Wars. I feel like if you're a 3 3/4 inch fan, you're gonna also be a fan of, you know, G.I. Joe and Star Wars. They go hand in hand. The variety really does come in here with a lot of these booths. It's not just sort of manly boy items, but you'll find plushes, you'll find sort of strawberry shortcake figurines, and all sorts of stuff. I think that's really cool. You know, when we were here, it didn't feel like it was just a guy's show. There were tons of older women and kids and all that kind of stuff. And you can kind of see that here from the items available. Got a bunch of little Care Bears and all sorts of stuff. So if you're, you know, a woman in your 40s probably have some fond memories of the Care Bears. I don't know about you guys, but I do appreciate it when the prices are nice and clear on items like this. I feel like sometimes I go up to a booth and, you know, if the price isn't on there, I don't feel like asking, and I just sort of leave. So, you know, having a clear price is helpful in my opinion. You know, maybe don't make it super stuck to the figure. You don't want to ruin the thing that you're trying to sell, but I don't know. For me personally, I like a nice price tag. Makes it easier, you know, going through there and realizing what you're getting into. Nothing weirder than walking up to someone and having them tell you a price that's, you know, double or triple what you kind of imagined in your head. Ah yes, Spike, a true classic. As I walked through here, you know, getting a little overwhelmed just by how much there is and how crowded it was starting to be, it's daunting. But of course, there's still a whole other half of the place that we haven't seen yet, so let's get to that. There's just a lot, you know, from new stuff to old stuff. As I said, daunting is kind of that feeling, but cool nonetheless. Especially when you've seen things that you've just never seen before or expected or whatever. Stuff that stands out is really cool. Anyone see Rise of the Beasts? No reason, just asking. Got some G.I. Joe Retaliation figures here. Nothing that I was looking for. I have a Cobra Commander from this movie. It's in the blue. I need the black. Didn't see it here, sadly, but maybe another time. Not a bad figure line by any means. At least I don't think so. Some wonderful vehicles here. Where would G.I. Joe be without vehicles? Who knows? I don't want to know. One cool thing about this place is that it utilizes the whole convention center, and because there's no panels or really anything like that, every little nook and cranny was a dealer space, so there was like signs leading you back in for more booths. I loved this booth because to me it just screamed, our kid's a little bit older, they don't really need all these toys anymore. That's just the vibe that I got from seeing stuff like, you know, Connects and whatnot. Not Connects, Imaginext. Versus this, which is quite older than those Imaginext. Now, definitely one of the coolest pieces was that there was a contest going on for dioramas and custom figures, and I've never seen anything like this on a convention before, mainly because I go to the big sort of media conventions, you know, Comic-Cons, and so this being a toy convention or a toy show, got some cool customs and whatnot, and cool displays. Like, this is just awesome. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure you can learn to do this kind of stuff and really put some time and effort into it, but I'm still blown away by seeing it. I wish I could do it, even though I'm sure that I could. It's still incredible to see the amount of effort that goes into this, no matter what it is about, or, you know, you just feel the passion coming off of the displays themselves. So this was really cool. I'm really excited about seeing sort of displays like this in such a creative way. I mean, let's look at the weathering, all the little accessories. I mean, like I said, how can you not be impressed by hard work like this? One of the more creative pieces was this sort of G.I. Joe themed Newlyweds game. You know, you could see Destro and Baroness in there, and Snake Eyes and Scarlet. Pretty fun. Then you go deeper into the complex, and you find another room with more toys. It sort of felt like we were like going deeper and deeper into like a dungeon or something. And not because it was badly lit or it was scary, but it was just like room after room. You're kind of guided through all these places with all these different toys. I've never been to a convention space that was sort of set up like this, but I guess utilize it, you know. When we got to the show, they actually told us at the front desk, they're like, make sure you see everything. Like this Mario, I guess. And this little guy, this little pit droid, driving a little bike around. There's just so much. I've said it a couple times now, I feel, but daunting really is the word when you're kind of doing this, especially in your cramped spaces, you know, where there's just so many people around and you're trying to get a glimpse at every little figure and every little detail, and it's hard. I won't lie. Now, the Terradrome, that's a classic. I love the way this thing is. They'll never do it in classified, too big, but I love it. This is Jane Goodall. Got some Transformers back here. Once again, G.I. Joe Transformers, they go hand in hand. And Pokemon, I guess. You know, Pokemon also is hand in hand with G.I. Joe, maybe? Some Sentai stuff. Now that's always exciting to see. Kind of different. There's just more and more stuff. This was kind of funny. The dealer said that he would do a deal on all these because they all come from the animated series. These 3 vehicles that you're looking at right now. I had these vehicles as a kid. They're not from the animated series. I wouldn't say that. But, you know, I guess maybe he would just misspoke, or I'm not entirely sure. But as we continue through the convention, I'm not seeing a whole lot that I feel like is like a must buy. There's tons of cool stuff. I mean, as you could see in the video, I'm sure many of you have probably spotted 1 or 2 things that you maybe want to pick up for yourself. So I would recommend going to shows like this, just because you never know who you're going to see. Not to mention Ron Rudat, who was there, who's like an iconic artist in the G.I. Joe world. But I was there to catch up with a personal friend of mine. If you guys don't remember, I did an interview with Pixel Dan a few months back. We really hit it off, you know, just like great mates. And so I figured I'd go ahead and say hello.
Hey, Dan. So good to see you again, man. Hey, man. Have we met before? Yeah. You know, we did a video together. It was like really, I mean, not a whole lot of people watched it, but like we did an interview a few months back. I mean, it's really cool to, I appreciate that you like my content and everything. It's really nice to meet you, man. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's really nice to meet you. No, but like, did you want to buy a book? Did you want some 60, 10, and I appreciate the support.
Well, you know, after a little bit of talking here, I bought a book, and he did agree to sign it, and he signed it with his own words. He was not pressured into saying anything specific or, you know, addressing it to anyone in particular. He just spoke from the heart and decided to write whatever he's writing right now, which is great. You know, he was kidding. He was just joking with me. Of course, he remembers me, I think. Yeah. I think with that, though, that does wrap up my sort of experience with this toy show. There's a lot to see, a lot of excited people looking for toys, but I think with this book, I had sort of gotten all that I needed. You know, my hero Pixel Dan, he made my day in a way I'll never forget. So with that, I thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd love to see more videos like this, let me know. I'd love to go to more shows. This was a lot of fun, but figured to check out some of my other stuff. Thank you, Ray, for filming this, and take care.